every day when the subject of your interview is also driving you around. I have a very, very special guest today, and he is get ready, set, go. Anish Shah, Dr. Anish Shah with us, the CEO and MD of the Mahindra Group, driving us during this very special interview in the Batman edition. 999 of these cars got sold out in 137 seconds, and you can see why it's beautiful. Dr. Shah, thank you so much for doing this.
It's great to be here with you, Tamanna, and I love driving this car, so that's easy.
Okay, viewers don't know, in the original plan, I was supposed to drive the car, but Dr. Shah clearly loves being in the driver's seat, isn't it?
I've loved driving from a very, very long time, so the vehicles we have now make it a lot more fun to drive as well.
Yeah, but my question was, do you love being in the driver's seat? And that's obvious because since you've taken on the driver's seat at the Mahindra Group, a lot has changed. Market cap of the group is up about 12 times. There's been a pivot in strategy as well. Let's start there.
Okay. It has been a great journey, but I would give a lot of credit as I start to the foundation that our leaders have built. And it's a foundation from a value standpoint. We talk about being purpose-led, and we've actually been able to show that being purpose-led builds a trust that enables you to perform better. It's a foundation from the standpoint of investments that have been made in the past. The Mahindra Research Valley is a classic example of such an investment that our auto business is now leveraging to create much better vehicles. The foundation from the standpoint of the people we have, the culture we have, and that's enabling us to give results that surpass expectations today. So I will start, as I said, with credit to our founders or to our past leaders who helped build this. And then our current leaders have taken it to a very different level. And to your question around being in the driver's seat, yes, I love being in the driver's seat, but more often than not, I have to be in the passenger seat or a cheerleader for our leaders. Because that is the power of a federation. The power of a federation is empowering our leaders in a very different way. And it's that empowerment that has made them successful.
You know, I'm quite impressed at how you're skillfully navigating Mumbai's traffic while answering all of my questions. That's quite cool. But I think one strategic direction that you've given the company the time you've been here, and first non-family CEO running this conglomerate, 3 lakh plus employees there. You're in a lot of, this is more than just a car company. And that is something that you have stressed upon as well.
It is, and that is often forgotten in the excitement of our cars.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that excitement. But we have many businesses, many leaders who have done a remarkable job. If you look at the last 5 years, cumulatively, auto has contributed to 25% of our profits. Our farm business has contributed to 37% of our profits. And services, which is often looked at as sort of an also ran for us, has been a key factor in driving our profits as well at 38% of our profits. Our growth gems collectively were valued at 8,000 crores 5 years ago. Today they're valued at 56,000 crores. And that's a level of not just value creation, but positioning that leaders of our growth gems have enabled. And these businesses are on a very good track to be able to be far larger over the next few years and be able to create much more value for our investors.
But I want to understand the why of it. Why the push to go beyond, and in terms of revenues, bulk of the revenue is still coming from auto, profits at 25%, but why the push to go beyond the identity of an auto company or a passenger vehicle company? Of course, tractors is a big part.
In many ways, Tamanna, we have been much broader than auto. And we just haven't talked about it as much. Some of the businesses were not as profitable in the past, which therefore also led us not to talk about it. But what we see today is the Mahindra Group playing in 70% of India's GDP. That is what our businesses represent today. And for us to be able to make a much bigger contribution to growth in India overall and be able to take advantage of India's growth to create a company that is globally relevant. So for us, therefore, that's important to reflect the fact that the Mahindra Group is not just an auto company. It's one that plays in 70% of India's GDP, that has multiple businesses that are very well positioned. If you look at aspirations of our businesses and their current performance as well, it's remarkable to see where we are. That's what we covered during Investor Day. And that, again, is a reflection of our leaders and associates in each of these businesses performing at a very different level. It also reflects the power of our federation. And that's something that has not been fully understood. The power of our companies being able to transfer talent across the group, to be able to take technology and be leaders in technology, learn across the group from that perspective. The power of trust that our customers have. And all of these things collectively make a huge impact in terms of performance of our businesses, and which is why our businesses have been able to perform far better than anyone else in their industries, and thereby create the value that our investors are seeing today.
So when you talk about the growth gems, and we're going to come to the car and what the Mahindra Born Electric story stands for in a bit, but when you talk about the growth gems, Dr. Shah, not all of the gems are shining as bright, if I may say so, and investors look at it as well.
You would have been right on that statement a year ago.
Really?
Today, every single business of ours is on a very strong path and doing very well. In some cases, you may not see that in the numbers as yet, but what we see from the products they have, how they're positioned in the market, they are at a very different trajectory than they were over the last year and clearly over the few years prior to that.
So Mahindra Holidays, for example,
we're going to see a huge change, you think, in 2026?
So let's take life spaces, as you mentioned that. GDV, which is effectively buying land gross value that will result in sales, and pre-sales are the two key metrics that the business looks at. For pre-sales, our goal for this decade now is to grow 14 times. The business has set out a number of 10,000 crores for pre-sales in fiscal 30. And for that, we've had to grow our GDV dramatically, which has happened already. 75% of what we need for the next 5 years has been acquired already in terms of land. And the business feels that a 14x number is less than what they'd ideally like. It's also a business that's a lot more profitable now, which is where we're putting capital into it. We did not put capital for some time because we had questions around profitability.
Yeah.
Those have been addressed very well. And as we put more capital, the business wants to grow faster than 14x. So that's the kind of growth we're seeing in real estate. Holidays, we have just announced moving from timeshare to hospitality with an aspiration to be the #1 leisure hospitality player in India. And we're very well positioned again to do that with the resorts we have in India. We have 100 resorts in India today. We've got customers who are very happy when they come to our resorts, and we want to be able to do that for a broader set of customers now. We're also getting into a new space to create signature resorts, and they're going to be very high quality resorts that enable families to go away to come together. And that again is a key need for us here. So Holidays is a business that is transforming itself. Logistics, with the new leader we have, is one that is significantly transforming itself now. And again, you don't see that in numbers as yet, but what you will see in logistics is they're going to be able to deliver a lot more and be the #1 integrated logistics player in India.
So, okay, since we're driving on that one nice road in Mumbai where you can actually feel the power of the car that you're driving, tell us about your love for driving, where we kind of started this interview from.
My love for driving began a long time back. I'd say even before I was in my teens, but I wasn't quite allowed to drive too much at that point, and has just grown over the years. Across the world in different countries, beautiful roads, and even Bombay traffic. I don't mind driving Bombay traffic at all.
Really?
I love it. It's a great feeling. I don't drive as much now as I used to, but it's one that I've always enjoyed.
Which car do you drive?
I drive the XCV9E.
Okay, so you do
And,
drive your own car.
Oh, of course, and it is phenomenal. And this is one I can confidently say for anyone who drives other cars: just drive the XCV9E, do it in race mode, and it's going to be difficult to go back to any other car.
Why such complicated names with single letters for all of your cars? It's a bit like Musk's kids. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out which one is which. What is the philosophy behind that?
There is some complication we need in life sometimes. It's a good thing to have.
Okay. No, but is there a strategic plan, or it's just names that sound cool?
It's names that sound cool. It's names that, in some ways, are linked to some of our strong brands. The XCV700 comes from the XCV500, which built a very strong brand. And that's what we realized. The power of brands is phenomenal. The Scorpio, for example, even today, is one of the best brands that we have, or one of the best automotive brands in the country. The Thar clearly is, but some of these have stood the test of time and have stood out really well.
So the Thar, I just want to talk about the Thar, and we'll talk a bit about the auto journey, because what's caught the imagination of people is that an Indian car company giving you a product that looks like the car that we're sitting in, feels like the car that we're sitting in, and then it's born electric. For those who don't know what that term means, explain to us what is born electric and the journey.
Born electric is effectively designing the vehicle for electric. In the transition from ICE or internal combustion engine, all car makers initially took the ICE car, took out the engine, put batteries in, modified the powertrain, and it was an electric car. That's not efficient at all. Tesla, for example, is born electric. It's designed for electric, which creates much better ride handling, much better suspension, and allows for the car to be able to deliver what it can. And that's what we've done with our vehicles. You're right, we've got a very good set of vehicles. In fact, our ride and handling is far superior to many of our competitors, even those who are priced multiple times above where we are. We've got the power in the car also at a very high level, given the battery technology that we put in place, the safety features that we've got in our vehicles, design, which is evident, and we've seen rave reviews across various auto journalists and consumers. And I would say that credit for all of that goes to the leaders in our auto team and our associates there. We've just done a remarkable job.
And you didn't flinch from EV. A lot of large OEMs or car makers in India say, okay, we have to also look at hybrid, we have to give opportunity and options. You guys didn't flinch from EV. It's been very clear, even when there were question marks about EV adoption, infrastructure, etc., etc.
An EV is far better than a hybrid. Why would one drive a hybrid when you can drive an EV? When you have the range, these cars give you 500 kilometers in real life conditions. Most of our customers will charge once a week when they're driving in the city. With charging coming up in highways now, that becomes much easier as well. An EV is a lot more fun to drive. It is a lot less expensive to maintain because the cost of electricity is far lower. A hybrid, as someone said, is buying a typewriter in the age of iPhones. So why would you do that when an EV is available?
No, but strategically, to have more options for consumers, it was never a path that you wanted to go down.
It wasn't, because we just felt that an EV vehicle was far better for the customer as well. And a hybrid does give a short-term advantage where you may not have enough charging infrastructure in play, and that's what allows you to be able to take a hybrid on longer drives on highways. But that's changing rapidly. That charging infrastructure is coming in very rapidly, and once that comes in, that advantage of the hybrid goes away as well. So in effect, you've got a better car, it's less expensive, it is much cheaper to maintain.
I want to come back to the broader group strategy that you talked about. What do you see as the biggest challenges to this plan?
Many of the targets we've set over the last few years, we've achieved or surpassed as well. And that gives us more confidence around the fact that we can continue to do that. So these are targets that we feel are realistic. Yes, there are risks. We see the world around us changing dramatically. We used to talk about black swans. I think we see a black swan every week now in some form.
Yeah.
But we've had the resilience to be able to adapt to that. And what we realize that it creates opportunities. So you can't sit back and say that something's happened that's really caused a problem for us and therefore we are frozen. We've got to be agile, move fast. And that's one thing we've been able to get as a group, which is the agility, the nimbleness of a startup in a group that is at a very large scale. And that itself is very powerful.
That's quite a statement. Agility of a startup in a group of your scale. Now, how does that agility come into bearing, especially with geopolitical news?
Let me go back a few years. During COVID, we had a huge shortage of semiconductors.
Yes.
And we had messages that came in literally every day or every week saying, we can't send you the key for your car because this semiconductor and the key is not available. Or the wireless charger that you have is not available, or the steering wheel cannot be put in. And we had to manufacture cars without steering wheels or wireless chargers or keys till that part came and then put the part in and then had that car go out. So our teams have gone through a tremendous amount of turmoil. And it didn't stop there. With the rare earth crisis more recently, with other supply chain issues that we've seen, we've consistently had to react to things. And we've been able to build that muscle to react to things quickly. And that's helped us. So we will continue to have these. There will be supply chain shocks, there will be various other things. But that's something that we've taken as part of life, and we said we've got to work around it and find solutions to them. And so far, we found solutions to them. And we have to continue thinking ahead and saying, what could other potential risks be? But the biggest risks are the ones that we don't even know about today, right? Which we can't think of. And we just need to have the ability to move fast to do it. Your question on what makes us agile. This is around one thing that we tell people that is the toughest to do, which is do less. So what we tell all our leaders is think big, do less, execute flawlessly. Think big, as you've seen, is happening. And yes, it takes a few things for it to happen. It takes the courage to be able to say something's possible, I'm going to go out and do it. It takes the environment for leaders to feel that I will be supported in this. If something doesn't happen well, if I fail, I will still be supported because I've tried my best, I've put in the effort, and I've done what I could do in this space. So, given that we are seeing our leaders thinking big, do less is very difficult because most people want to do more. And that's one mindset change we've been able to drive across a group, which is a leader is not defined by the amount of territory you control. A good leader is defined by the amount of value you create. And therefore, if you're doing less, you have the ability to execute flawlessly because you're focusing on a smaller set of things.
What does do less translate into in real terms? Does it mean, say, less products? Does it mean more structured growth? What does it actually mean?
It means prioritizing ruthlessly for everything. It does mean less products. You look at the success of the auto business, which we've been talking about. One of the key decisions was we will not make sedans. We will not make multi-purpose vehicles as we had done before. We will not make smaller SUVs. We're going to focus on authentic SUVs. That was only 19% of the market 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we said we will focus on that 19% of the market. And by doing that, we are now number 2 in the entire 100% of the market today. So that's one aspect. It's prioritizing on which business lines are we in, because there are multiple small things that every business will have. How do we cut those out? If it doesn't matter, don't do it, but play to win. Wherever we play at scale and play in a manner where we can win significantly.
And also pivot maybe when you need to. So what you said earlier, I just want to come back to that. For Mahindra Holidays, moving out of the timeshare identity that it has had. It's always been a timeshare product.
That's right.
What was the thinking about it? Was it also realization that perhaps in this day and age, the timeshare product is not what punches like it used to?
To some extent, yes, but timeshare is still valued by a lot of folks because there's tremendous value in being able to lock in your holidays for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years at today's prices. So our customers see a lot of value in that. Timeshare, though, is 8% of leisure hospitality. So we could look at ourselves and be very happy that we're the number one timeshare company in India. But we also see our customers who are very happy when they come to our resorts. And not everyone will either fully appreciate the value of timeshare or may not be ready for it. In which case, how do we serve a larger group of customers? And that's the reason for us to take that next step or pivot to say that we will go into leisure hospitality overall and give our customers a choice. If they like a timeshare product, we will have one for them. If they would like to come in a different set of resorts, then we have that as well. And we're leveraging the strengths that we've already built in terms of delivering fantastic customer experiences and being able to do more with it.
What are going to be some of the key levers going into 2026 for the group, for you? We talked about geopolitical, the way things are working out, geopolitical situations, a lot of inward-looking thought across regions, right? Prioritizing their own supply chains, their own companies, not really importing as much. Protectionism is one way to put it. How do you fight against all of that? On top of it, AI and how that's going to change things. How do you as a leader look at some of these things?
We have to be ahead of the curve on all of them. We have to be proactive. Some things will happen that we have to find different solutions for it. But on balance, we look at ourselves as keep our heads down, stay on course. We have a very good path. We've got great growth momentum in our businesses. We're seeing great demand across many of our businesses. And we just have to execute. To us, that's the most important thing. Don't let distractions come in the way. It's very easy to come out and say, we've done well in this, let's add 5 more things and let's do it. Our challenge is not to add those 5 things, to continue on the path we've outlined and be able to deliver well.
Why the idea of this Batman edition?
The Batmobile has been one of the iconic vehicles.
Yeah.
And we've created one that rivals that. And as many of our customers saw this initially, and many of our associates, they talked about it saying, this is like a Batmobile. So we reached out to Warner Brothers and said, look, can we do something here together?
Oh, the design came first and then you said, okay,
the
let's...
design came first and then it was something that folks looked at and said, well, this is what it could be. And therefore we reached out and said, look, can we do something together here? And that's why we've created a limited edition. We're doing the next one with Formula E because this car also represents what Formula E stands for. And that's going to be the next limited edition. We'll have a few more that come out as well. So the ability for this vehicle to be able to adapt to many such iconic brands is what we're leveraging.
We're almost here. As we're wrapping up this conversation, one of the things that you've said is an aim that you have for the group is to make this one of the most respectable companies. And I found that interesting because it was not profitable, not largest, but respectable. And that's something you can't really quantify, right?
That's right.
What was the thought behind it, and respectable how?
So this is an aspiration that actually had been set up by Anand before I even joined the group. So it was first set up in 2011 to be among the most admired companies in the world. And the thought process was at that point that any company can achieve numbers and deliver on targets, but what makes us unique is how we do it as well. And therefore, it's not just about numbers because it has to be broader than that. Yes, numbers do come into play because if you want to be one of the most admired companies in the world, you have to be at a certain scale and size. Without that scale and size, you're not in the consideration set. So numbers are important from that perspective, but it has to be a lot more than that. It has to be about governance. It has to be about people, about talent and creating career paths for folks that they love and they enjoy. It's about enabling people to be the best they can. It's about contributing to society and playing a bigger role. I think all of those factors come into being one of the most admired companies in the world. So that's the reason why we've taken this as something we're passionate about and we want to achieve, because it requires us to do very well in a very large number of areas.
Well, that's a perfect note to end this drive and this conversation on. I must say you've been an excellent driver. So that was Dr. Anish Shah driving NDTV Profit around in the Batman edition and talking about the outlook for 2026.